mention here is cohort studies. Again, we might recruit from the population. Our baseline here might be that we have a set of people who are free of the disease. Now, in order to find the people who are free of the disease, we would need to test people at the baseline. And we'd need to say, well, who is it that is at risk of getting depression? And we would then screen the people here for that particular condition and say that we're not really interested in the people who already have the disease. What we're looking at here is how disease over a period. And so we're going to follow up over a period of time, and then we're going to have some kind of recording of those people who get the disease. And we might do this in an active way, active follow-up, whereby we'll every month or every so often, and do the same screening and find out how many people have got the who test positive for that particular condition in those repeat visits. We might say, well, we can't afford to do that and do follow-up. We're just going to look at people who come into the clinic. We're going to then say, let's record those ones who present with the signs and symptoms of the disease that we're looking at, or the condition that we're looking at here. And so we'll get a measure of the incidence of the disease over time. The numerator is with the disease, all of the new cases. Even if that case of disease only lasts for a few days or weeks, they will be counted as someone who has had the disease, a bit like the question that was answered earlier about the lifetime prevalence. In fact, we're looking at incidence, and we can accumulate the incidence over time. But the denominator is that everybody who is at risk of the disease, who didn't have the disease at baseline, but who would have been at risk of that disease over the period of time that we had there. The difficult thing about cohort studies is that some people may be censored. And this happens, if you're collecting the data yourself, or if you're looking at secondary data as well. Some people might be censored in that they are at risk of the disease for a period of time, but then at a particular time point, they no longer come to the clinic, they have moved away, or they've died, things like that. So if you're looking at the incidence of mental health conditions in people who have HIV and who are attending clinic and receiving their antiretroviral therapy, then you might see that they come to the clinic many, many times, but at a particular time, they might die or they might move away, and they're no longer at risk of having this particular mental health condition because they are no longer attending that clinic. So analysis of cohort studies will use what I call a time to event outcome, and there are lots of different methods for analyzing time to event outcomes, including Poisson regression and Cox regression, and more sophisticated regression methods as well. So cohort studies are very, very useful for looking at incident methods, and we can analyze those. We can, again, I haven't put it on this slide, we can adjust for confounders, we can look at other independent risk factors as well, providing we collect our in our data. Okay. Okay, good.